Hey guys, what's going on? It's episode 2 of Hey Coach Ryan. We're going to look at David Hayes' question today. I got more questions, but David came up with a good one today to talk about. So he said, I saw this post from a guy in his Dana Farber Boston Marathon group. And the guy says, so as we all start out our training, I keep hearing that the ARC trainer is the best cardio machine for run training. Is there any suggestions for good gyms in Boston Metro that have these machines? And David asks, do people agree with this premise that the ARC trainer is the best cardio machine for run training? So let's look at how these machines and cross training build into overall training. All right. So there's a theory, a principle of coaching, and a principle of training called specificity of training, which is created by this guy, Jack Daniels, who's a very incredible coach and who has written Daniel's Running Formula, which is a book, if you haven't read, that I recommend you read. Specificity of training is really easy. It means that in order to become better at an activity, you need to practice that activity. So in this case, this guy is training for the Boston Marathon, so he obviously wants to finish the marathon and become a better runner. So in order to become a better runner, you need to run more. Now, these things, and now let's look at these ARC trainers and these types of activities and see which one is the best and kind of look at, like, none of them are really the best. And here's why. When we look at training, we want to look at two things, okay? So we want to look at something called specific stress, and we want to look at something called specific result, okay? So specific stress is the stress that you put on your body, and the specific result is the fitness or the result that comes from the stress that you put on your body. So let's say you're going to have someone go out and you're going to have them run 45 minutes easy versus 60 minutes on this ARC trainer, okay? So running 45 minutes easy means that you go out and you're actually running and your feet are hitting the ground, right? And you're out there and you're actually hitting the ground and you're going out and you're doing your run, okay? And so what's happening is as your feet are hitting the ground and as your knees are hitting, being able to support that shock, and you're running 45 minutes easy, your heart's becoming more efficient, you're creating more mitochondria, you're doing all of these things that happen when you go out and you run 45 minutes easy because the stress is 45 minutes easy, and the result of that are all these things that happen. Now, if you go on the ARC trainer and you go to the gym, maybe I'm going to draw one of these things, they're like this, and your feet just kind of move like this, all right? When you go on the ARC trainer, the specific stress is super different, and the specific result is super different because it's not specific to training. It's not running, okay? So doing this, is it going to make you a worse runner? Probably not. Is it going to make you a better runner? Maybe. It can help you maybe gain some fitness and things like that, but the only way to go out and to become a better runner is to do these things. So when we look at these types of machines and which ones are better for run training, the ARC trainer, the elliptical, cycling, these sorts of things, they all serve as ancillary activities to the actual sport and the actual activity of running. These types of things we want to use to help us be able to run more so that we can follow in this way of specificity of training. Now, specificity of training is important because as we become better runners, we are able to run more. So if we look at the case of someone that can go out and they can run, let's say they can run 4 times 60 minutes, which is 240 minutes. So they're on 240 minutes a week, and they run at a 10-minute mile because that's very easy. So now they run 24-minute miles, right? So if this person can do this, if we would take 60 minutes off of their time and do 60 minutes on this ARC trainer, they're going to be a worse off runner because of it. If they can go out and they can maintain that mileage, that's what we want them to do. And if we can increase their mileage and now they can run 30 or they can run 36 miles, we want to do that. We don't want to include these sorts of things unless we have to. Now, I'm discounting the fact of like the mental side and that. But if you can remain injury-free and run more, you're going to become a better runner by doing that. And you don't want to add these things in unless you have to. Now, is cross-training bad? No, cross-training inherently isn't bad. What I would rather see is this guy like lifting weights or doing something that's actually going to help him be able to run more. Because if he's lifting weights or he's working on range of motion or flexibility and mobility, that could possibly give his body the support that it needs to be able to go out and be able to run more. And if you run more, then you can run more in the same amount of time. So if we take this example of the guy running 240 minutes a week at a 10-minute mile, which is 24 miles, if all of a sudden he can continue to run that, and now over the course of 6 to 8 weeks, he can run at a 9-minute mile, he or she, now he's running, let's say, he's running 28 miles a week. And then he's running at an 8-minute mile, so now he's running 34 miles a week. And so you can even run within the same time frame. You can become a faster runner and be able to run more because you're running more, not because you're doing more arc training. More arc training, more elliptical training is not going to help you be able to become a better runner. It's going to maybe help on the cardiovascular side and help give you a little bit of cross training. But these sorts of machines, there is no best machine or cardio machine because they're not helping you do this and they're not helping you inherently become a better runner. Now, this is when we talk about becoming the best runner that you possibly can. If you like going on the arc trainer and doing that for 3 days, for 60 minutes for 3 days, and that helps you and you like that and you feel good after doing that, then that's fine. But if you look at it from a performance standpoint, there's nothing that inherently does this because the stress and the result are very different for this than are very different from running. That's going to help you become a better runner. Hopefully that helps shed a little bit of light on these sorts of things. If you have any further questions, make sure to let me know. If not, I will be back hopefully tomorrow with episode 3.